Today I fucked up by raising a master manipulator. Hi all. I thought screwing up my entire family's sleep schedule with worm baby would be my worst screw up this year, but I forgot everyday parenting is a chance to screw yourself over somehow. This one has been building up since Monday. My toddler turned 2 this past weekend, and the same day I found out our school shut down due to it that must not be named. I now teach from home while a 2-year-old yells at her now crawling sister to stop playing with all her toys in the background. It's incredibly unproductive, but my daycare also shut down while the owner makes her husband sleep in the camper because he won't stop going to work. I also decided that, since we are already trapped at home for the foreseeable future, it would be the perfect time to potty train. I bought my daughter some undies and M&Ms and decided I didn't need to read any books to do this, 100% because I find parenting books too boring. My strategy was to tell her not to pee on Minnie or Sky, the characters on her undies, and give her M&Ms if she went on the potty. It was going great. She wasn't having any accidents because she thinks the toilet is an incredible adventure. She also greatly enjoyed getting candies. Here I thought I was the luckiest parent ever who gets through potty training with no accidents. I was pretty full of myself, to be honest. Then this morning happened. I know you're expecting to hear how she had a horrible accident at the worst time. I'm sorry to disappoint, but this is a much different story. She woke up and went potty. She got a candy. 2 minutes later, she yelled pee. And went again. More candy. 30 seconds later she yelled pee. And went again. This happened about 8 times in a row. Each time, she would excitedly scream candy and run in circles, like any 2-year-old mainlining sugar at 7 AM would. That's when it hit me, she was deliberately holding some in to go more and get more candy. Suddenly, I, the parent who has controlled sugar intake and only allowed healthy snacks, had fed my child 19 M&Ms for breakfast. In case you have never observed a toddler on house arrest suddenly on a sugar high, she has taken off all her clothes, covered herself in stickers, and is chanting ashes ashes and throwing herself on the ground over and over and over. Too long didn't read, decided to potty train my toddler with candy. She trained me to become a human candy dispenser. Now I'm concerned she's either headed to great or terrible things. This is so wholesome. Thanks for sharing. Congratulations, you have a 2-year who just figured out pee on the potty equals candy. Don't worry, it'll pass in a week or so. This is exactly how we potty trained our son, and he did the exact same thing for about a week. Week 2 it was a grape or some pretzels. If he went the entire week with no accident, he got a bag of memes, as we called them. By the end of the month he learned praise and high fives were all he got. But he did it. So will your little girl. Good luck. Been there, done that. Had to switch to getting M&Ms only for a full pee that I could hear. Although then it was just over a year of hearing I peed. Did you hear my tinkle? Listen to my tinkle. Hey, if your kid can figure that out at 2? You've got a lawyer for a daughter. I'll let you decide if that's great or terrible. When I potty trained my son, I promised him a chocolate ice cream if he did a poo. We sat in the warm sun on the decking out the back for the whole afternoon. After a while he went for a poo in the potty. It is a bendy one, he proudly explained. Cheers all round, chocolate ice cream etc. About an hour later another one popped out. Good lad, I thought. Another chocolate ice cream cone. Then a third poo. And I realized chocolate is a laxative. Way back when my now 5-year-old dog was under a year, we had him in a local doggy daycare so he could socialize. The owner did something similar to ensure the dogs wouldn't go to the bathroom inside. If they signaled they needed to go out, and then went pee/poop, they'd get a treat, and she had the good treats. One day we go to pick him up and she gives us this look. Apparently she'd never been outsmarted by a dog before mine. He'd been signaling that he needed to go out constantly, but he was going out and lifting his leg and standing there for would be the length of an average pee time. It wasn't until she kept a close watch and realized he was entirely faking her out, that she figured out he was just doing it for the treats. He was mimicking peeing because he knew she wasn't watching that closely. He's still a sly guy, but it's part of his charm, lol. Today I fucked up by gluing my vagina shut. This was a couple of months ago. I have a long-term FWB that I trust with everything having to do with my body. We had some semi-rough sex a week or so earlier and he had accidentally torn my inner labia with a fingernail or something. This resulted in every time I peed my stream would hit it directly. Besides me having to bite my tongue and grit my teeth to keep from screaming profanities because of how badly it would sting, it also opened whatever had healed back into what I could only imagine was a humongous gaping wound that was probably actually only a centimeter in length. After a week of this I decided I needed to do something about it. I happen to work in the or at a local hospital and have access to some surgical glue. There are two different types we use frequently. One called Dermabond that is much more viscous but takes longer to dry, and the other called Swift Set that's more like a super glue in viscosity and dries quickly, but also comes with a little cap that is helpful in directing the glue into a much finer area. I felt like if I had less control over where the glue went and had to wait very long for my glue to dry, I would end up gluing my labia together or something equally terrible, so I decided on the Swift Set to heal my vaginal woes. I made a plan with my FWB that he would come over and help with my crusade to heal my vaginal wound, since I couldn't really see what was doing down there and still have use of both my hands to manage everything. He agreed, and that's where I fucked up. He comes over that evening, I hand him the glue and show him where to put it, thinking he'd be delicate about where he's gluing. Nope, instead he decided to empty the entire tube onto my wound, and being fairly runny the whole thing ran down into my vagina. I was able, after a few minutes, to scrape it all out in a few giant bricks of purple, but for the first few minutes I panicked about what I was going to have to tell the ER doc or my gyne about why my vagina was permanently sealed off, and why there's a wall of glue inside of it. Luckily it also glued the wound closed and I had no more problems with peeing after that. I now refer to the incident as the Great Wall of Vagina mishap. Too long didn't read. Today I fucked up by letting my friend help my glue a labial wound closed with surgical glue, to which he emptied the whole tube into my vagina. The Great Wall of Vagina triple fucking A. To keep the Dongolians out. At least you two have a great bonding experience to look back on. I feel bad for your vagina. It gets pounded, cut, no proper recovery, and glued. Your vagina needs a vacation. Next time skip the glue and apply a bit of Vaseline over the cut just before you pee. It works wonders. Will do. I hope your FWB stuck around to make sure you were okay. He did, lol. Today I fucked up by burning my own asshole into oblivion. NSFW. Too long didn't read. At the bottom. This happened a few days ago. Throw away because I don't need this stuff attached to my main account. I'm traveling for work right now. I'm a nervous flyer. A very nervous flyer. Whenever I fly I get anxious for days before the day of. I almost always get a very upset stomach, which evolves into some really gross bathroom situations. I think you get the idea. So after a day or two of nervous shitting, my asshole was royally raw. It hurt to even sit down regularly. I decided I needed to get some hemorrhoid cream to help it feel better. This isn't anything new for me, since I always get like this when I travel. I walked down to the hotel gift shop and picked up a bottle of hemorrhoid cream to soothe my aching butt. I get back up to my room, and go into the bathroom to get to work. I opened the tube, gave myself a generous amount of ointment on my fingers, and rubbed it all around. I usually need a good amount to feel any relief, so I really applied it well. I pushed some inside and made sure I was really all covered. It only took about 5 seconds or so for me to question all of my life decisions. My asshole was on fire. At first I thought it was just a stinging feeling. No, this was no stinging. This was much worse. This was hot flames culminating directly from the inside of your body. This was placing a hot curling iron right up your own asshole. I immediately tried to wipe it away, but the burning continued to get worse and worse. It got so bad I started to scream and groan, and shuffled myself with my pants around my ankles from the toilet over to the sink. I grabbed a wet washcloth, soaked it in cold water, all the whole screaming my head off in pain. I took the cold washcloth and pushed it right up into my butt. Worked it around. Thought I might pass out. It was so terrible, and I had to keep getting the washcloth colder and reinserting to make any sort of a difference. After about 10 minutes of violating myself with a washcloth, I finally felt okay enough to walk back over and take a look at the bottle of ointment I purchased. It was not hemorrhoid cream. Oh no, it was not. It was Bengay. Extra soothing menthol Bengay. Apparently in my haste to get some relief, I mistook the analgesic term for analgesic and just went to town. This was 3 days ago, and my butthole still feels like I gargled it with Listerine. Too long didn't read. I bought what I thought was hemorrhoid ointment, but was really menthol pain relief gel for sore muscles. Slathered it in and around my asshole and still feeling the burn 3 days later. Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry. I hope your butt stops hurting soon. It's like your ass smoked a Newport. My butthole feels like I gargled it with Listerine, got me lol. Not to take from your wonderful story, but it reminded me of a story involving my BF. We were house sitting at Grandma's house and about to head out to breakfast when he goes to brush his teeth. I hear him yell and come running from the bathroom gagging. He decided to just pop some toothpaste in his mouth and swish. But the toothpaste on the edge of the sink nearest the toilet was in fact hemorrhoid cream. Literally had to scrape it off his tongue. Yummed morning snack. One time I thought it would be cool to jerk off with the stuff. Same result but with my dick. What doesn't kill you will make you stronger, in this case harder.